morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss is a continuation of the chapter Second World War, causes for the Second World War, 1939 till 1945. Previous class I already told you that today I will discuss policy of appeasement. Yes, now try to understand the policy of appeasement also responsible for the Second World War. The policy of appeasement was followed by Britain and France. Britain and France to avoid war with aggressive powers such as Germany, Italy and Japan. Once again, the policy of appeasement was followed by Britain and France to avoid war with aggressive power such as Germany, Italy and Japan by giving their demands, and they thought their demands were not unreasonable. Now it is very clear who followed the policy Britain and France. Against whom they followed? Three aggressive powers: Germany, Italy and Japan. These three are aggressive powers, dictatorial powers. Now it is very clear, but this policy had two distinct phases. Of appeasement. The first phase from the mid 1920s until 1937. Mid 1920s until 1937. The first phase of appeasement policy, the middle of 1920s until 1937, these two appeasers, Britain and France, wanted to avoid war at all cost, and therefore they had accepted all acts of aggressions and breaches of Treaty of Versailles. Now, for example, to justify our point, what act of aggression they accepted? Now look at between this period, 1931. Japan attack Manchuria, Chinese province. 1935, Italy attack Abyssinia or Ethiopia, a small African colony. March, same year, 1935, Germany announced reintroduction of conscription. That means they wanted to build huge arms and ammunition. March next year, 1936, Nazi troops entered into demilitarized area Rhineland. This area was demilitarized according to Treaty of Versailles, eastern bank of river Rhine. Hitler ordered Nazis to enter into the Rhineland. Now you can understand how they specially accepted all act of aggression by all aggressive power, Japan, Italy and Germany. It is very clear. Once again, the policy of appeasement was followed by Britain and France to avoid war with aggressive power such as Germany, Italy and Japan, and by giving them whatever they are demanding. For example, you remember previous class we discussed Hitler demanding Sudetenland. It was handed over according to Munich Plan 1938, September 1938. And what they failed, Britain and France, their demands were not unreasonable. The appeasement, there were two phases of appeasement. The first phase from the mid-1920s until 1937. 1931, Japan attacked Manchuria, Britain and France kept quiet, they did not take any action. 1935, Italy attacked Abyssinia League, again proved their weaknesses. Britain and France did not take any action and it resulted, afterwards, Italy became very friendly with Germany. Mussolini and Hitler became very friendly. March 1935, Germany announced the introduction of conscription. This means breaking of Treaty of Versailles. And March 1936, Nazi troops entered into Rhineland and it was thus militarized. This all act of aggression and breaches of Treaty of Versailles. Now try to understand the second phase of appeasement. The second phase of appeasement, it is prior 1937. It is the second phase of appeasement prior 1937. 1937, Chamberlain became the Prime Minister of Britain. And he gave a new drive to appeasement policy. How? Because he believed whatever dispute it arose during that time, it was only can solve through negotiation rather than by any force. Once again repeating, the second phase of appeasement prior 1937, Chamberlain became the Prime Minister of Britain. He gave new draft appeasement policy and what he believed to solve in the context of time political dispute only possible through negotiation, not by force. Therefore, they wanted to appease, they wanted to follow appeasement policy. Now we are going to discuss the second very vital point, reasons for following the appeasement policy. Why Britain and France, they follow appeasement policy. First reason was to avoid war, which was more devastating even than before. That is pointing Second World War. Because they saw the horror of the Spanish Civil War, 1936. And the great fear was that bombing on defenseless cities. And Britain still facing economic crisis, could not able to afford the expenses of rearmament and also expenses of the future global war. Now once again, the first reason why Britain and France followed the appeasement policy, they wanted to avoid war which would be more devastating than before. Because at the meantime, Britain facing economic crisis, and she could not afford the vast rearmament and expenses of future global war. That is why Britain wanted to avoid war and lead to the following appeasement policy. Second point number 2. Genuine grievances. Italy and Germany had genuine grievances. Now try to understand what genuine grievances Italy and Germany had. Italy was cheated and Germany treated too harshly at Versailles. Therefore, British Prime Minister believed if it is possible to show sympathy to Germany, especially in special concern to German, then how it would help to German? It led to Anglo-German friendship in future. Now once again, second point, Italy and Germany had genuine grievances at Versailles. Italy was cheated and Germany treated too harshly. You know, German territory all taken away. German soldier limited to 1 lakh. German was responsible for the First World War. That is why she had to pay huge amount of reparation money, that is either 6 million pound or $33 billion. Her all African colonies taken away and kept under the mandate system, Britain and France. Therefore, it was too harsh for Germany, and Germany, what he felt? He believed if Britain and France showed sympathy to Italy and Germany, special concern to German, it will lead to Anglo-German friendship. That is very important in time being. Third point, number three reason, personal contact between the leaders. We already mentioned 1937, the prior of second phase, Chamberlain became the Prime Minister of Britain. He believed only to solve the dispute only possible if it is possible personal contact between the leaders. And even he also believed if he can contact with Hitler and Mussolini, it would be possible, especially to socialize, to control Hitler. He believed he could control Hitler and to bring Britain and France to respect international law. Try to understand. Third point, the reasons to follow appeasement policy, personal contact between the leaders. Chamberlain believed whatever political dispute in time being, it could only possible to solve if it possible personal contact between the leaders. And he believed he could control, in this way he could control Hitler, and it is possible for him to bring Germany and France to respect international law. What is happening on respect international law? Not to go beyond that, beyond the boundary. Now fourth point, economic cooperation cooperation between Italy and Germany. Economic cooperation between Italy and Germany. Chamberlain, British Prime Minister, believed if it is possible to improve, to recover German economy by Britain, the internal disturbances of Germany die down. Once again, economic cooperation between Britain and Germany. If Britain helped to recover German's economy, post-war German's economy, it is possible for, especially, to stop the internal disturbances in Germany, and it will totally die down internal disturbances and peace maintained. Fifth point is very important. Fear of communism. In those days, communist threat was danger, the leaders believed. Therefore, actually mostly Britain conservative leaders believe, what they believe, conservative leaders, that the threat of communist threat was greater than the danger of Hitler. Once again, the most of the conservative leader of Britain, they believed communist threat was greater than the danger of Hitler. Whatever point we discussed from the first till fifth, avoid war, Anglo-German friendship, even economic prosperity between Germany and Britain, personal contact between leaders, and the last one, communist threat. All above points, it was clearly tells us that the time being, Britain was not ready a full-scale war. She wanted to avoid war. In meantime, there was a full-scale war. She wanted to totally avoid the war because she was not prepared for that. And the second point, Britain frames America and France. America still in favor of isolation policy, and France was weak and divided. Try to understand this one very carefully. A major war, if it led to the major war,